your girl Rosie here with Iconix Radio, and today we have an amazing, astounding artist, musician, entrepreneur. Like everything you can think of, this guy is, and so much more.
Wow. Wow.
The one, the only, the amazing Mr. Jere B is here. Jerry, thank you so much for joining us here at Iconix Radio. Happy day to you.
Happy day to you,
Happy
Sister
day.
Rosie. Blessings to you.
Oh, blessings, my king. I'm so glad we're about to have this amazing conversation. We got a chance to actually sit down and speak with you, Mr. Iconics, and I, and it was just such an honor to be able to be interviewed by you. And so now we could not go any further in life without, without having to learn about the man behind the music movement itself. And we're so glad to have you. So thank you again for joining us today.
I'm so grateful. Thank you for having me. I don't have the opportunity to be interviewed much, so this is going to be fun because I'm nervous.
Oh, Jerry, stop.
What is she going to
let's
ask me?
let's get into it. Jerry, I got a chance to ask you before we even got the interview started. I asked you, I said, hey, you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing that you do? And you said,
I pray. That's the very first thing I do. In the wintertime, I have a prayer room upstairs, a second floor of our home, and on during the spring and summer months, I love to walk. And so I'll just walk and talk to the Lord and try to listen. Sometimes I'm not too good at listening, but listening to hear what, he's trying to say to me. And then I'll hit the gym and then I'll come home and my beautiful wife of 30 years, we're celebrating 30 years
wow.
uh, this year. And so we'll have coffee and conversation in the morning. And then, I get to work, get to the music.
I love it. Coffee and conversation, guys. That's one of the notes in his book of marriage for 30 years. Coffee and conversations. Okay, that's
Gotta
noted.
have it.
I got gotta have it. I love
Gotta
it.
have it.
Now, Jerry, not only do you have coffee and conversation with your a beautiful, amazing wife,
Yeah.
you put honey in your coffee?
Oh yeah, honey in the coffee. You got to try it. Honey and cream. And that was
Honey and cream.
about 100 years ago when I was moving away from white sugar and then I went to brown sugar, but
Yeah.
just trying to eat more natural every time. And honey is the perfect natural sweetener. I mean, you don't have to, it's not chemicals or anything
Right, right,
that
right.
you have those alternatives, but the honey, just the right amount of honey, a little bit of cream, that's my coffee.
Come on. Oh, you know what? Because of Jerry B, y'all, I'm gonna try to put some honey in my coffee. Mr. Iconics, you heard that, right? Okay. He was like, whatever. I'm telling you, it's coming. All right. Jerry, you've been in the music industry for quite some time,
Yeah.
and you've been able to bless the industry and as well as artists with some amazing work. Let's talk about how you got started in the music industry and what actually influenced you.
First and foremost, I think that any person of color would have this testimony that it starts in church. You know what I mean? It starts in church. So I'm a church drummer, and then, wow, fast forward to the fifth grade where my good friend, who's a friend for life, Tyrone, said, yo, man, we're starting a band and we need a drummer. And so my mom, I begged her to take my drums down to where they were rehearsing, and we just became a force in Youngstown, eighth grade, 10th grade, high school dances and all of that. We had what was called variety shows back then, and they had
Come on,
real
man.
talent. It wasn't tracks or anything. It was real bands, real competition. And so, I was telling you also before we got started that Ohio is the land of funk.
Come
Believe
on
it,
now.
believe it, it's the funk capital of the world. So, we had the Ohio Players, we had Slave, we had
Ooh.
Lakeside, we had a band called Dayton and Son. LA and Babyface are from Ohio, when they put the deal together. I mean, so, you just have all of those acts. Walter Juni Morrison, Bootsy Collins,
Come on.
James Brown, forget it. So here we are. Okay, and so that was
Shirley
my
Murdoch.
foray. Billy
Shirley Murdoch.
Murdoch, Billy
Listen.
Billy Beck from the Ohio Players. Come on.
Tell you something. You naming all of them, but you forgot one.
I'm sure I did.
Zap.
That's it. Roger. I mean, honestly, losing Roger was like losing an uncle, to be quite honest with you.
Wow.
I had a opportunity to meet the guys um, on the Troutman brothers on several occasions. And yeah, just a tremendous loss. But Bootsy, he was really instrumental with Roger going to Warner Brothers, with the More
Mm.
Bounce to the Ounce, but that's another conversation. We could go down that rabbit hole because I love talking about stuff like that. But George, of course, was going to sign them to Uncle Jam, but Bootsy being on Warner Brothers, they followed Bootsy over there, and the rest is history.
You
Yeah,
know what, Jerry? I just need you to know this is Iconix Radio, where untold stories are always told right here.
love it.
So we always taking notes and taking gems. So thank you for that.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
man. So you were a drummer in church.
I'm in
You
church.
found yourself definitely continuing that journey throughout school. Was there a music teacher that also just kind of helped cultivate that? Because once you leave church, you're like, I don't want to play no more. I'm good. Let me go play football. But
No.
was there anyone in school that actually nurtured that when you got in school?
Well, yeah, Mr. Trinkus was a music teacher, but we didn't need him for motivation, and
Huh.
none of us, Tyrone, Chris, Craig, Eugene, my brothers for life, like I said, since the fifth grade, and we are brothers like now. You know what I mean?
Wow.
All have our families and spread out and whatnot, but I mean, Mr. Trinkus really allowed us because we didn't like sports. I mean, if you were a musician in my school, you were either a musician or sports. It
That's
wasn't
it.
the two of them. That was it. So we was always hanging out in the music room. And you bring up Zap, okay? So remember when Roger put out Heard It Through the Grapevine, right? Okay,
Yes.
so we're doing this jazz concert in front of South High School. The auditorium, if you can picture it, is just full of people. And Mr. Trinkus has us on doing these little jazz cantatas, right?
Uh-huh.
So we're doing it, the little, classical jazz and trying to be on point. And then because we knew who we were, I
Huh.
started hitting the hi-hats with Heard It Through the Grapevine, and we went, "Ba-da," and the whole place just
We're
goes
crazy.
crazy. People start dancing and whatnot. Yeah, we did cause the mayhem in the auditorium that day, thanks to
Wow.
Roger and Zap. So
Come on now, look. You couldn't let the time pass without telling that story. I know that's right. I know that's right. When you think of yourself as a musician and how much music has definitely evolved,
mhm.
how has it affected you and how you work on music now?
I evolved with it, I think. I'm definitely old school. So I love the old vibes. I think a song needs to be a song. It's not just a collection of beats and raps and rhythms. I like structure.
Hmm.
I like the bridge. I like the melody, the harmony structure, the rhythm section being real strong. But, as far as technology, as far as distribution, as far as marketing and networking and all of that, evolve with it. Don't be so old school where you're just like chained down and you can't move with what's
Right.
happening.
Right.
But
That's so
you
true.
got to have some foundation though. You
I
know.
love that. I love that. Now, we know where you're from. We know what you represent. We know the music.
Yeah.
When it comes to you working with artists, what's the environment like for you? How do you find an artist, or how do artists find you? And what is that collaboration like?
It's always been very organic. I'm grateful for that. I have a pastor's heart, and so I love people. And the way every music project that I've been blessed to be a part of has been because of relationship first.
Hmm.
And once the relationship is formed, the project itself, as we're going through, I can be very OCD, but I can be very fun as well. So I've been called everything from the producer from hell, to Quincy Gordy. It's
No,
just
not
been good.
Quincy Gordy.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
well, I think that that's definitely a compliment because they both get the job done. Okay,
Yeah, absolutely.
that's
And
right.
I love it. I'm grateful for, the opportunities. I've had the opportunity to work with some amazing artists, some more known than others, but it was never a situation for me to walk into a studio with someone of a quote unquote name, and I won't do any name dropping, but
For sure.
someone who was a named artist
Yeah.
and have any um, egos that got in the way of the music getting done. And nor have I, I'm working with a 17-year-old gentleman right now here in Youngstown who is looking to become the next usher. But I've never, we started when he was 14,
Wow.
but I never, treated him like, oh, young man, you need to whatever. We just let the artist grow. You got to
That's
let the music percolate. You know what I
that's
mean?
it. Yes, yes. What do you when you're producing or working with an artist? What's the first thing that you look for?
Well, passion. Are they passionate about what they want? Are they focused? Do they have a plan in place? What happens outside of the studio is just
Hmm.
as important as what happens behind the microphone or when they're on their instrument. And, do they have a sense of who they are? I like people who are very centered. I prefer people. I shouldn't say, I'll like you, but I prefer working with people who are very centered and very focused as to what their gift is, because it is a gift. I don't care if you
Yes.
sing or you play. This has been given to you to steward by the Lord God Almighty. And
Mm,
so what you do with this is going to absolutely matter. So I tell a story, if you don't mind,
sure.
back in the early 90s when hip hop was becoming all the rage, and we were moving out of happy hop, like Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, into this violent, dangerous zone, which really still has a stronghold on much of the music industry now. But I could remember not wanting to be a part of that environment at all. I mean, I could have made some serious, serious money because everybody and their little brother was a rapper that was talking about putting cat's head out and
Right.
the
Right.
whole B words and everything. And it's like, yo, this is not music. Music is spirit. And music should be able to not only entertain you, but encourage you, empower you, inspire you,
Yes.
enlighten you. And when it's not doing that, I have to pull away from it, you know.
Mm. Thank you for saying that. I think that's one of the reasons why the movie Sinners has like grossed over 100 million plus, like before it even like made it to 2 weeks of being, in the theaters.
Yeah.
Have you got a chance to see it?
No, I haven't. I've heard, and
I would.
oh, go do it. Go see it.
Please do. I definitely do believe in the messages. There's a lot of messages there in
Hmm.
that film, but one of the biggest messages that I and Mr. Iconix took from it was that music is spiritual. And
Yeah.
like everything you just said is exactly what was was given and told in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
The message was so powerful. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. It's so true. When you're looking at a studio session and you have an artist that comes in and they make cut down the lights, so they may say, "Hey, I want this microphone, not that microphone."
Sure.
How do you say, "Okay, hey, let's take control of this and let's create good music"?
Hmm.
Like what is the interaction like when you're working with an artist?
Well, it's not either or to me. It's both and because I'm for using everything that's going to work, and that's if that's lights and that's atmosphere,
Hmm.
or if that's you want a certain candle burning because it reminds you of your grandmother. I mean that's fine. We're gonna do whatever it takes to make it happen. I'm blessed to be able to work out of various facilities that have the equipment that's necessary, so that's never been a problem. But I don't let it get in the way. I think, cell phones are out. I don't want any
What?
distraction. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you got the cats coming in like,
Ain't
yo,
no
baby.
what? No no selfies, no quick videos.
Well,
Like, no.
I mean, there's plenty of time for that when we break, and then it looks like you may be singing.
Yeah,
Well, we got to do it because your manager is saying, "Well, hey, we need to put this out or whatever. We got a
right,
social media moment." That's fine. It has its
right.
place, but I don't know. Again, I come from the '70s, and it's about that work. You
Get
got to
that
put
work
that
in.
work in, and then we can play.
I
We
love
can do
that.
that after that.
I love that. And the reason I asked that question is because we talk to a lot of producers, we talk to a lot of artists, and everyone is so different, and sometimes it comes off as being, I got to get this content. But when you're talking to producers, they're like, we got to get this work done. And so I'm trying to help artists understand,
Yeah.
because this is Iconix Radio. It's like the next generations of icons, and we're
Right.
speaking to icons such as yourself. So, when you're trying to put the cultures together, when you're trying to put the younger generation with, the more matured wisdom generation, and you're trying to mix the two, you got to know what to look for when you're dealing with a pro. And
Yeah.
that's what I always try to explain to, what I try to get the, younger artists understand, you
Yeah.
know, get
Yeah.
the job done. So thank you for that.
Well, it's definitely necessary. I mean, just going back to the young man, Jaren, that we're working with, the one thing that we did is we put him in front of YouTube to watch some Curtis Mayfield, some old Temptations, you know what I mean? Some
That's
Smokey
right.
Robinson. And it's just like, this is not about the flash. This
That's
is not,
right.
you get the dance steps and you get the moves and you get the looks because you want the girls or whatever your passion is on that tip. But if you want to come from the heart, you're going to have to bring it back to 1971, 72, 73, and, and get that foundation on point.
That's right. That's right. I love that. Now, are there any artists? I know you're working with the young gentleman, but are there any artists right now that you're looking to work with that are like, that we know of?
Well, Lisa McDavid, as a matter of fact, I'm just finishing a track for her. I sent it to her and I sent it to Danny Jones, who you guys have interviewed on
Yes.
my Ace Boon Coons. But Lisa is part of the Entree Musician. Plus, she's a hardcore, solid singer in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and she
Wow.
sings in no less than 5 bands. So she is cooking it. She's working all the time. And we did a song for her, a single for her last year called "Sister Soul Sister,"
Hmm.
and that was really a throwback to Carla Thomas and Jean Knight, back in the day. And so we're working on a song called One Life at a Time. Doing that as we speak. Watch out for Lisa McDavid because she's on point. So yeah, we're doing that. The Entree Musician has turned into this collaboration of different artists who are working with each other. So there's always something to do. There's always a vibe. I don't know if I answered your question, but
You did, but you took the other question like right out of my mouth, and I thank
oh,
you for that. Let's talk about the music movement of the entree musicians and that entire the movement that you have happening. How did that get started, and what actually influenced you to keep it going?
okay, I'm going to try to give you the concise version because it can get a little complicated. The only
Okay.
thing I can say is when we go back to say 2018, 2019, I had really been thinking at that point of leaving my day job. I'd been a pastor for 27 years. I wound up leaving the position, not the pastorate, but the position of being an assistant
Wow.
pastor in December of 22. So going back to 2018, because I worked for a radio station, I had all these experience, and podcasts were beginning to come of age and
Mhm.
hit the footing. So the first thing that I said was, well, with my experiences, I guess the best way to start a podcast is talking about the things that you shouldn't do. So I started talking about the mistakes. Like if you don't do these things, you could probably really soar because I did it, and it, really kind of curtailed me with respect to 2019, and then we get up to the 2020 shutdown where everything is shut down, right?
Right.
So I don't care if you're Beyonce or Jay-Z or whoever you are, nobody's performing, nobody's doing anything. People are starting to record in their garage and whatnot. I happened during that time to meet a gentleman named Vance Anderson. Vance has gone on to be with the Lord now, but Vance, I met him through LinkedIn. And Vance was Tony Bennett's road manager for 20 years, the Tony Bennett. So we're
Wow.
talking about a professional dude. We just caught on him, uh, myself, Daryl Looney, who's a part of the Entre Musician, and Linda Bolero, who is associate professor of voice at Berkeley School of Music. So the four of us begin just having these conversations about what an entrepreneurial musician is.
Mm.
And that's where the entre musician came from, being entrepreneurial and, of course, being creative as a musician and aligning all of these things up. So we begin to use the podcast as a vehicle. And then we began meeting every week just to talk about what we needed to do. Because again, nobody can perform, everybody's at the red light. So, what are we going to do when the light turns green? So, the second phase of that is who are we talking to? Well, all of us over that time were either over 50 or approaching 50. I just
Mhm.
turned 60 in February. So with respect to that, we were like, okay, well, this is the demographic because people of our age are facing like, okay, well, what does this mean? What does life mean after COVID for an entertainer? The social media platforms are always changing. AI is coming on the scene. There's always something new. And then you're dealing with your relevancy. I'm not 20. The youth and entertainment are seem to go hand in hand. So
Right.
my relevancy is still here. And that's how we begin to pick up steam because everyone who's in the entre musician is at least 50 or older. And so we begin to talk about things that matter to us with respect to our careers, with respect to our music, with respect to mentoring others. I was blessed to write a book. I don't know if you knew that, but we wrote this book called The Path of the Entre Musician.
Oh.
This book was picked up by iClassical Academy in Italy, and they asked me to write a course for them to include in their curriculum, which we were able to do. And so after that happened, that was 23. So in 2023, they said it was the most watched course. And I'm not a classical musician. I'm telling you about God here, okay? I'm not a
Mhm.
classical musician, but what we were able to teach in this book on mindset, discipline, and focus really helped them. And so now we coach, we're a community, and we collaborate with each other and, just to help expand it. So I was trying to be concise. I gave you the long version, but that's how it started.
Oh, wow.
That's
I'm
how
okay. So first of all, I'm blown away by you said you 60?
I'm 60. Yeah, God's grace. Yeah.
God continue to do everything that you're doing. You look absolutely amazing. My God. And then not only that, you brought musicians and artists and writers, producers together that basically were just at that moment of where do I go from here? Like what else
Certain.
is next?
Yeah,
And you created this collective of mentors,
yeah,
entrepreneurs, and you wrote a book about it and then it became a
of course.
course.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. iClassical Academy, and you can see me. It's a video course, and I'd never done that before. Again, you have to have a lot of faith. And man, if I can give anybody some advice, if you care to take advice from me, step out on faith. Don't be afraid to say no. Try things that are beyond your comfort zone. Because again, back in 2018, when I was like, you know what, music is just as strong a calling to me as ministry is. But you don't want to step out. You don't want to disappoint your pastor. You don't want to disappoint the congregation. You have a nice little nest egg. You're about to turn 60, right? So you say, you have all of these things, but it's okay.
It
Step out
is.
of the boat like Peter did. Start walking on the water. Keep your eyes on Jesus, and he definitely directs your path because I couldn't have told you that I was going to create a course for classical musicians. Mind you, classical music. I mean, I'm talking about top-notch musicians.
Wow.
So that's that.
And it is so amazing because when you talk about like information and you talk about collaborating with different people with the likeness of like a Danny Jones, who, I mean, let's kind of dig deep and just actually talk about when you're meeting these producers, these amazing artists, and they're up in age, but they're still making those major moves. Danny
Absolutely.
Jones literally he mixed the greatest of Al Green
Absolutely.
just recently.
Mhm.
And this is someone who's also a mentor, but he's a part of um your movement.
Yeah.
So when you're meeting people of likeness like that, how does that make you feel to say that we're still making a big impact in the industry? How does that make you feel?
I don't know. I never evaluated how it made me feel. I know that one thing is for sure. When we were younger, and you watched TV, or you listened to music, everyone seemed to be older, right? It was
Mhm.
just, if something happened where the ages became, not to say there wasn't a Frankie Lyman, of course, or a Michael
Right.
Jackson or anything, but I'm just saying that most of us were watching artists who were up in their 40s. So that was natural. Actors who were in their 40s and above.
That's right.
So so I don't feel, other than the fact that we knew what our demographic was dealing with, I didn't feel like, oh, okay, well, this is really special. I don't think I feel like that now
Huh.
because Danny Jones, Margot Fitzgerald, Linda Bolero, Daryl Looney, Robbie Cunningham, Robin Williams, everybody in the entre musician, Anna Nicholson, Dennis Jackson, we're just getting up and pulling our sleeves back and doing our thing. So it's not like, oh, this is a real cool, special zone. The one
No,
thing I know though,
no.
Rosie, Holy Spirit, because I want to see things like mushroom and
Hmm.
blossom and grow. And the one thing that I was cautioned, and he Holy Spirit has done a very good job of cautioning me and pulling me on my leash because I can get ahead of the game sometimes. But he said, do you want the entree musician to grow deep or do you want it to grow wide? First, it has to grow deep.
Right.
Okay, because if it grows wide and it's not deep, it's just going to fizzle out. Oh, well, we got 100,000 people doing this, 8,000 million gazillion followers and whatnot, and it's just spreading, but there's no depth to it. And so that's
Mhm.
where we feel we are, is still going deep, and it's very organic, and it's very, if we feel special about anything, we've created a family of people all over the world, Serbia, Finland, Italy, Germany, the Netherlands, all coming together. Sri Lanka. We had a dude on from Sri Lanka, in the entree musician, because again, you have a commonality among people of a certain age. So
Oh, this is good. This is so good. So, if there's anyone out there listening that would actually like to become a member, become a part of the movement, what should they do? Should they call? Should they text, email? How do they become a part of this movement?
visit the entremusician.com. You see it is spelled the entree
I was
music.
like, let me duck.
So entrepreneurial, so the entremusician.com is the website, and that's a good way. I mean, all of the contact information is on there. That's a good way to kind of get started. I do have a Calendly link on there. So if you want to schedule 15 minutes with me and ask as many questions as you want, by all means do that. And then, I invite you to a couple of sessions. You'll love the sessions. Matter of fact, you and Mr. Iconics have to come to a Sunday night. He did.
He
He
did.
did.
He definitely
Well,
got a chance.
yeah. So it's
Yes.
just family. It's just, and whatever the issues may be. So just to set the table for it, if you're a musician out there, you come into the session and you say, well, I'm having a problem with distribution, or I'm having a problem with networking or getting my mix right. Every Saturday and Sunday, because we have two sessions a week, but every Saturday and Sunday we play music. So if you are just wanting to submit a demo, if you have a finished product or whatever, come on, you'll get some love, and then you'll also get some transparency. Well, you might want to make that hook a little stronger before you release it or whatever, but you have an opportunity to do that. We get that from Motown. Motown did that, right?
Yes. The
you know
listening sessions. Yes,
and listening
sir.
sessions, yeah.
Come on.
So we do that. And then also you get 8, 9, 12, 13 different suggestions on how to increase your distribution, how to whatever the problem is. And it's a mastermind. And so you really actually leave the meeting growing because you're taking some new ideas home with you that you didn't have before you came in, you know.
Come on now, Jeremy, that is so good. And I
Yeah,
think it's amazing. It's never too late. You always have a community of people who's doing something that's impactful, like the Entree Musician Group. So there we go. Well, I think it's time to play a game. Do you want to play a game, Jerry B?
let's roll with it. Let's roll with it.
Okay, we get ready to play this game here in just a moment. But before we get ready to do that, where can people find you and support you?
So sounddoctrine.com, which I don't have behind me. That's my band, and that's most of the music and my production is through sounddoctrine.com. But for mentoring, for coaching, collaboration is through the Entree Musician. So Sound
Awesome.
Doctrine, which is sound doctrine, one word, 1D.com.
Perfect, perfect. Well, thank you so much for all this. And before we get ready to go into the game, any words of encouragement you would like to leave to the listeners?
Yeah, go for it. Just go for it. Go for it. Go for it. Don't get me started. That's a question right there. You shouldn't ask me. If I listen, go for it. Okay. Don't get comfortable. Don't let me tell you the story. I gotta tell you the story. Young gentleman we were working with, this had to be maybe 11 years ago. Young brother named Shane, beautiful vocalist. So we're in the studio recording Shane. And during the process of this project, his father passes away. Okay, his father passes away unexpectedly. So the engineer I was working with at the time and I obviously we're going to go and pay tribute, honor his family. We walk into the hall, Rosie, and there's this beautiful music playing. We don't recognize who it is. Turns out the engineer's name is Jerry. So it's Jerry. I don't know what it is. And so we're there maybe half an hour as we're going through the line to greet the family, to offer our condolences. I have to ask Shay, man, hey, where'd you pick this music? This is wonderful. Sets the right environment. He said, well, it was my dad's music. He said, but he never put it out. He didn't think that anybody would pay attention to it. He was a factory worker, so on the weekends he would record. And that made me sadder than I've never met the gentleman, the deceased who passed away. But I thought that did something in my spirit. Like I would never want for me to leave
Mm,
this earth and something that God gave me, I hid it under a bushel because I didn't think that people find. If you, whatever little tiny talent that you have, go for it. Go for it. Go for it. Do it now. That's my advice.
it's time to get to the game, y'all. Here
Yes,
we
ma'am.
go. It's
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
We get ready to play this game, guys. Y'all stay tuned. I have Mr. Jerry B with the Entree Music Musicians. The movement is here, guys. If you did not catch their story, push replay. Okay, we're gonna play this game. Oh my gosh, Jerry B, that is a major story. I think, as they say, don't leave here with a full cup. Make sure you empty out that cup. And thank you for that story. Especially for the entree musicians, that entire movement and everyone that's still emptying out their cup. Like that's really what it's about. So to all the listeners out there, if you are continuing to live out your dreams and create music and you want to get those extra ears, from professionals,
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
professionals, definitely reach out. And again, one more time, where can they find you and follow the Entree Musician Group?
Sure. Go to theentremusician.com and all the information is there for you to start hanging out with us.
Come on now, come on now. Not only just that. Now, we about to play this game, and I hope you ready. If
I
you
hope
got
so
any
too.
help in the house, tell your wife to holler out and help you out because you gonna need it. Mr. Iconix can't help you right now, so I don't know whether you rolling solo, dolo,
Woo!
but I got faith in you, Jerry B. I got faith in you.
Boy.
I believe you're gonna win. Are you ready?
Okay. Yeah, I guess I have to be.
All right, here we go. The first question. Now, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
A few questions, and you just give me the correct answer. It's going to be multiple choice. So whatever sounds right to you, that's
Okay.
what you're going to give me. All right.
All right.
All right. Here we go. Okay. First question is, which artist is considered the godfather of funk? Is it A, George Clinton, B, James Brown, C, Prince, or D, Bootsy Collins?
That's got to be George.
Final answer?
Yeah, Godfather of Funk is George. Got to be George.
Okay. That is incorrect. It is James Brown, Jerry.
Yeah. No, James Brown is the
Hold
Godfather of
up.
soul.
Wait a minute.
Really?
Yeah, James Brown is the Godfather of soul. That's how come
Uh,
I took him off. The Godfather of funk. Funk is George Clinton.
he gonna stick to it, y'all. He gonna stick to it. He says George. The game said James, but Mr. Iconics, what you got? This is the first time ever, guys. We have had to get
The Godfather of soul is James Brown.
and look, Jerry say don't go to the next question. We got Jerry said
Funk.
Godfather of funk is the game said James. Jerry said George. Look,
That's right. That game is incorrect.
what is
It was James Brown.
it? Says James Brown.
Father of funk. He's typically referred to James Brown.
That's
I
all
would
right.
go
That's
to
all
the
right. That's all right.
I would
We
go to
got
the source of who wrote the game. Okay, and
oh
give them a history lesson.
Jerry. Jerry looking for you. Jerry looking for you. Google. Look.
Yeah, because
Let's
because
do.
because
What,
because what Bootsy used to play with James Brown, right?
yep.
Bootsy, the Horny Horns, Fred Wesley, all of them came, and they came to George Clinton from James Brown, came to
Uh,
George Clinton. George Clinton put everything on the one. Okay. James Brown was more syncopation. George Clinton is everything is on the one, and that became the standard of funk. Everybody knows it. Cool in the Gang, Sly Stone, everybody know it. You give soul to James, funk to George. I'm ready for the next question.
Jerry say, I'm gonna give you a little history, and then we can go to what you say. Wait, hold on. Okay, here we go. The next question is, Jerry,
Yes, ma'am.
what is the primary purpose of traditional gospel music? Is it A, to show vocal range, B, to promote dance competitions, C, to praise and worship God, or D, to sell the most albums?
C, definitely.
Final answer?
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah, it has to be.
Jerry ain't taking no prisoners today, so get ready. Here we go. Okay. Which famous gospel singer was also known as the queen of gospel? Was it A, Mahalia Clark, B, Mahalia Jackson, C, Aretha Franklin, or D, Yolanda Adams?
The Queen of Gospel?
Yes, sir.
That I'm thinking they're saying Yolanda Adams. I think that's what they're saying, which I disagree with, but I'm gonna give that for an answer.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Mahalia Jackson.
So did you say Mahalia? You said Mahalia Clark, Mahalia Jackson, right?
Correct.
All right, because I didn't know Mahalia Clark. So okay, I concede that one. I have no argument.
Here we go. This is a good game. This is a good one right here. Okay, now, which 1970s funk band is known for wild stage costumes and hits like Flashlight? Is it A? Is it A, Earth, Wind, and Fire? B, Sly and the Family Stone? C, Parliament Funkadelic? Or D, the Ozzy Brothers?
They all had wild costumes, but I'm gonna say P Funk.
P Funk it is, and that is correct. Yes, sir.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, here we go. Now, Which of these is not a real gospel song? Again, which of these is not a real gospel song? Is it A, Take Me to the King? B, Jesus is on the main line, please hold. C, I Smile? Or D, Break Every Chain?
I've never heard of I Smile before, so I'm going to choose that. Let's go with that final answer. I Smile.
I'm going to ask you one more time for all the Christians in the back.
Okay, so
Okay, Jerry, here we go.
Jesus is
Which
on the
of
main
these?
line.
Nuh-uh. Jesus. Okay. Which of these is not a real gospel song?
Jesus on the main line.
A, Take Me to the King.
To the King.
B, Jesus is on the main line. Please hold.
Oh, please hold. Okay. Okay. Let's go with
C,
that one.
I Smile. Or D, Break Every Chain.
Yeah, so yeah, we got to go with please hold because the gospel song is tell them what you want.
That is correct. Jesus is on the main line. Please hold. That is correct.
Well, you know what? And here's my thinking. It's too
Yeah.
analytical. But when we got into the James Brown thing, I'm thinking the writer of this game has to be wrong. So maybe he made a mistake with the please hold. So again, OCD, too analytical. I'm cool. Please hold. That's the wrong one.
Good. Okay, here we go. All right. You ready, Jerry? What funk inspired artist brought gospel influences to pop with songs like a Prayer? Was it A, Shaka Khan, B, Madonna, C, Janet Jackson, or D, Tina Turner?
So the artist was Madonna on Like a Prayer. But what was the question?
The question was, what funk inspired artists
Okay,
brought
funk inspired.
gospel influences to
Okay.
pop with songs like a Prayer?
Like a Prayer was definitely Madonna, that's for
Yes, it
sure.
was.
But she's
Yes, it
not a
was.
funk inspired artist. You see how my brain convinces me otherwise. Okay, go for it. I'm
Jerry
ready.
said, who wrote this again?
Right.
All right, here's the one for the win.
Okay.
Which of the following instruments is most associated with funk music? Is it a violin, B, bass guitar, C, a harp, or D, a flute?
That bass, baby.
Boom, boom, boom. That bass, baby, that's right.
That bass.
He shook his head, was like, that bass, baby. That's you should have put the stank face on it.
Right. Right. You got Bootsy Collins behind you. You know. Come
You
on.
know,
You know.
that's right. That's right.
Honestly.
Oh my
Can I
God.
ask you a question? This is not a
Uh-oh, here we
trivia
go.
question. Do you know who Walter Juni Morrison is?
Guilty as charged, no.
Okay. Walter Juni Morrison, okay, helped bring the Ohio players to prominence with things like the Funky Worm, Ecstasy, Pain, all that early 70s too. Then he left the Ohio players and went to Parliament Funkadelic, where he was responsible for One Nation Under a Groove, Knee Deep, all that's Junie stuff. Okay?
What? Yes, sir.
Ohio, from Ohio.
Tell you something. If you want to know anything about funk, gospel, and you want to go head to head, Jerry, Jerry B is the man, and he is ready, and he got a
Ready.
word for you too. Look,
I'm ready. I'm ready.
he got a word for you too. Okay, I love it. Before we get ready to go, earlier you did
Do
mention
everybody see Mr. Iconix done jumped into this video?
yes.
So
Oh, Miss
my
Archives is
good
here.
friend Jerry, we have a discrepancy here on Iconic
Okay.
Radio. So I'm having to share my screen
Oh,
Yes.
so that we can make sure this
first
question
time ever. First
right.
time
So
ever.
I'm gonna share my screen because I was working the internet while I'm
Yes.
on here. So at this time, we're gonna share the screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, open up the system. Yeah, allow, open up breakfast. Da da da.
First time ever, guys.
It's beautiful, beautiful.
Here we go. What you got? Let's see.
So did our screen show up yet?
Is there supposed to be another screen on?
Yeah, I'm about to share it. I had to
Okay.
do some.
While he's doing that, I'm gonna show you something, okay?
Uh-oh. Yeah. Iconix Radio is lit tonight. So
Yeah. I gotta show you some things.
let's go.
Philip Bailey, Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh.
Okay. Barry Gordy, to be loved.
Uh-oh.
Herbie Hancock. Okay. Autobot, and this is signed by Herbie, as a matter of fact. I met Herbie and he signed this book for me. Okay. George Clinton. Huh? Shaka. Huh? Rick James. Okay. The Godfather of Soul, James Brown.
Oh, so
Right here.
Oh.
Okay. Maurice White from Earth Wind. Okay. His autobiography. So, like, that was what I could grab. There's more back there, but that's what I could grab while I'm here.
Did you just have like a stack of books, like the musical library, just right next to you?
I'm telling you, I absorb this. I absorb it. That's wrong. That Google is wrong. Google is wrong.
Google is wrong.
Google is wrong. You see that? The Godfather of Funk.
So did this? Wait a minute. Did the screen come up?
Yeah, it's there.
I see it.
Oh, y'all see it?
Yep.
Okay. So
That's
as
why I
we
said it was
read
wrong.
here, do you see it?
I see it.
Yes.
I don't believe it.
What does it say? I'm gonna do two screens.
Okay.
Okay.
The Godfather of Funk is typically referred to James Brown.
Yeah.
As the legendary singer.
Yeah.
So now, if we do Godfather of Funk, George Clinton.
Uh-huh.
Because I looked up both. George Clinton is also known as the Godfather of Funk. Is a legendary American singer too. So they say James was, then they passed it down to George Clinton.
What if you look up Godfather of Soul? What does it say?
It's going to say James Brown.
Yeah.
So he's of soul, and he's both.
Yeah.
But they passed it to
Clinton.
Well, Jere B, I have to let you know that you are also correct.
So I just had to jump in.
It was
to
not
make
wrong.
sure he wasn't wrong. He was half wrong, half right. But he had one of them.
But he had it. So I'm definitely gonna have to I'm gonna give it to you because like you got it. And you brought the facts, and for the first time ever, Mr. Iconix has never interfered in an interview. Ever. So this is the first time ever. But I just want to say it was necessary, but because that's what this is about. That's what Iconix Radio is about. The facts, the icons, the legends. So Jere B, you got it.
Yes. All right. That's my good friend Jerry. Just had to jump in, and I'm out.
That was great. That was great. I tell you. Yeah.
Jerry, speaking of teamwork, speaking of love, before we get ready to get up out of here, 30 years of marriage. Let's just, if you can briefly just give us just your top 3 tips. I know you said coffee and conversations was definitely one of the go-tos, but in all honesty, I think it's a major, beautiful thing, that a beautiful love that you all have, you and your wife have. So if you could let the listeners know your top 3 go-tos of what can help anyone make it to 30 years.
I think that you and Mr. Iconix have it. I saw that when I was interviewing you. I was on the other side of the glass interviewing you. You married your friend. you're laughing together all the time, and you're in business together. I think that those three things, the top three, my wife and I are in business together in the sense that she's a realtor and I don't know anything about real estate, but I do talk to her about real estate. She doesn't know anything about the music industry. In fact, she's only been to the studio one time from the time we were dating to now. She doesn't want to be in the studio at
Wow.
all. But she gives me helpful advice and tips on what we should do. I'll tell you this one story, got to tell you a story because this is where Holy Spirit said, "Yep, she's the one. Our babies were small. We've raised three daughters." This is back in 2003 or 4, okay? I'm auditioning people in our band. I'm auditioning a guitar player. She never saw the guy because she's upstairs. We're in the basement. She never saw the guy. She just was doing the baby's hair. And when I came back upstairs, she said around 4 o'clock, you had a guitar player. And what was his name? I told her his name. She said, don't hire him. Never saw him. Okay, but she heard something in the spirit. I'm saying, woman, you don't know anything about music. How do you, because this guitar player was doing it. I hired him. It was the worst mistake that I ever made. The Holy Spirit is like, hearken into the voice of your wife. She heard something in the spirit that I couldn't hear. That's why, Jerry, I said it's not good for a man to be alone. I will give you a helpmate. She's my helpmate.
Wow.
So, yo, and I see that in you and Mr. Iconix. You guys are there for each other. I saw the chemistry. I saw the synergy and just the way you guys flow together. Keep doing that. you'll be you'll be here.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. A million thank yous. And again, congratulations to you and your wife on 30 years of love. And it's a beautiful thing. And we celebrate you here at Iconix Radio. And not to mention your music will be played right here on Iconix Radio. So shout out to the entree musicians, the group, the one and only, the amazing, the icon himself, Jere B, guys. Before we get ready to go, any words of encouragement you would like to leave to the listeners?
Yeah. Get out there and make it happen.
Period. That's it, guys. We had a fun game. We had great conversation. We had great fellowship. And I just want to say, with that being said, guys, if you did not get a chance to check out any of this interview, you just checked out the game. Go back, get your pen and your pad, take a lot of notes. It's a lot of history, a lot of gems being dropped in this amazing interview with the one and only, the icon himself, Mr. Jere B. All right, guys, that is it for today. It's your girl Rosii with Iconix Radio, and we are Izzy out. See you later. Bye.